Camera recording.
Hello, mother.
Well, I don't know about you, but it definitely seems like the criminals are becoming a little bit brazen. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name's Luke Radowski here of WeAreChangeDotShop, and we are living in some absolutely upside down, tumultuous times, to say the least. As, of course, there is a major attack against our 2024 presidential election, as Colorado has just made a very dangerous escalation to what already is a very tumultuous election cycle that is definitely going to get a lot more tumultuous from here. We're going to be talking about that plus a lot more all here on this independent media organization. If you like the shirt that I'm wearing right now, you could get it on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. It's one of my favorites. And the clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast shows a woman stealing a package and delivering a not-so-family-friendly message to the people that she is literally stealing the private property of. As, of course, here in the United States, we have a two-tier justice system that is based on your skin color and political affiliation. As the corporate media and establishment keep telling people not to have children, not to have families, they do it in many kind of subtle, subliminal ways. They also do it in very overt ways, like this article that is absolutely Orwellian and somehow trying to justify how women are happier without marriage and children, which is just an outright lie. As, of course, a lot of the science and the studies have been manipulated for political purposes, like this study that talks about how humans breathing makes the weather better, as other propaganda outlets purporting themselves to be news organizations literally connected the two and told you not to have children because there's a little problem with the temperature that they see, that you, of course, are contributing to and need to stop immediately by eliminating yourself from the gene pool. Yeah. No, thank you. As, of course, a lot of these messages are sponsored by individuals who go on private islands, specifically Little St. James Island, and are able to get away with some of the most atrocious actions on humanity. This says, of course, if you have enough money, if you have enough power in our society, you could literally get away with the worst inhumane crimes, especially if you were born in a special womb that is either connected to the British royalty or to the Bidens. This, as the Washington Times is reporting, that now the White House is refusing to say why Hunter Biden was actually left off of the passenger list when he, of course, was flying with Joe Biden, as, of course, Hunter Biden is facing a lot of congressional subpoenas now, House investigations, as his previous misdoings were censored on behalf of the media establishment that essentially wanted to guarantee his father's position in power. This, as his father has been a loyal servant of the military-industrial complex and soon might be launching another conflict in Yemen. This, as a lot of conflicts, even a potential domestic one, might be ramping up here inside of the United States. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit, but before we do, we wanted to tell you about WeAreChange.Shop, our own line of health supplements that I personally use, that I really like. One of my absolute favorites is TakeCalm.com, 1,000 milligram full spectrum CBD. I really like this stuff. Every time I'm about to do kind of a major show, or I get nervous, or if I'm about to give a major speech in front of a lot of people, there's usually a lot of nerves surrounding that, especially when you're speaking to like millions of people online, tens of thousands in real life. It gets stressful. And I take this stuff and it literally calms me down. It relaxes me. I really like it. I think you would too. The website is takecalm.com. If you have issues with anxiety, sleeping, this potentially might help you. Do your research, do your homework, make sure that this is right for you. As, of course, on the takecalm.com website, we have a lot of information that you could start your own research homework journey on, as I think this is one of the best products that we have available to you, as it is made and produced here inside of the United States. It's been lab tested, and I've been testing all sorts of products in this specific genre. I've been trying, I would say I tried about 100 different particular products like this, and this one, in my opinion, is absolutely the best. This is why we are selling it. We are running with it. I really love this product. You might too. Start your own health journey by going to, of course, WeAreChange.Shop and checking out what we have available to you, as these products in my opinion, are absolute game changers and something that we are definitely going to need when it comes to dealing with this very tumultuous election cycle, which Ann Coulter described very perfectly by saying, quote, "This just in, Fox News calls Colorado for Joe Biden." This as Kamala Harris had this word salad to explain our current situation.
You know, every election cycle we talk about this is the most election of our lifetime. Lawrence, this one is.
Yeah, it's the most election of our lifetime. At least she didn't say erection. This says, of course, the majority of Americans are absolutely shocked, as just moments ago, the Colorado Supreme Court ruled that they are removing the former president of the United States and the lead frontrunner for this Republican presidential election from the ballot based on the 14th Amendment interpretation, which they strung along and actually used an insurrectionist ban in order to prevent Donald Trump from being on the ballot. A very aggressive move, a move that, of course, a lot of Americans are saying is very undemocratic. This from the political party that, of course, has been promising to stand up for democracy, as people's votes, their choices are being taken away from them arbitrarily based on a loose interpretation of laws spanning 100 plus years from now, specifically on insurrectionist charges that Donald Trump was never found guilty of. Are you freaking kidding me? This is insane, absolutely unfair. And it is important to note that it was a predominantly Democratic appointed majority Supreme Court that made this decision, with even one of them saying that the decision, quote, undermines the bedrock of America, as 3 Colorado Supreme Court justices dissented against this opinion, as of course they are arbitrarily taking the people's ability to vote for whoever they want to. This as online commentator Tim Pool even came out and said that, quote, with this move by Colorado, the 2024 election is officially rigged, describing this move as the first grain of sand in the rigging of 2024, as it definitely does look like a lot of Democratic Party establishment members in many states will be launching similar attacks, essentially trying to get Donald Trump off of the ballot. Now, of course, this Supreme Court decision will be appealed and probably most likely overturned by the U.S. Supreme Court, unless there's something shady that happens, as of course in our political election cycle, there's a lot of shady things that have been happening. This, as of course, many members of Donald Trump's inner cabinet, his lawyers, his legal team have been arrested and are facing some very serious charges, as it's fair to say that the 2-tier justice system is absolutely launching legal lawfare against them and putting out all the stops, trying to stop them from having any kind of political significance on this country, even though, according to the polls, the majority of Americans want them to have. Now, what is going to be happening when the system arbitrarily stops what the majority of the American people want? Well, it signals a lot of troubles for this alleged current democracy that is being upended, all in the name of democracy. Now, one of the few individuals that actually had some scruples and actually responded to this in a very impressive way was, of course, Vivek Ramaswamy, who was also trying to become the next president of the United States and pledged to officially withdraw from the Colorado GOP ballot if Donald Trump is not allowed to be on that ballot. He also came out and demanded that Ron DeSantis, Chris Christie, and Nikki Haley also do the same immediately. And even though those other presidential candidates released statements condemning the action by the Colorado Supreme Court in a very soft way, in a very political way, they didn't take Vivek Ramaswamy on his offer. And let's be honest here, probably won't. And if they continue to run and try to win a primary that has been rigged, they are being accused of being no better than the people who are rigging this election. Now, even though they are being very critical of this ruling, a lot of people are saying, put your money where your mouth is and make a stand for the political will of the American people to not be undermined, to not be screwed over. And it definitely looks like Vivek is standing out from the crowd by making these bolder declarations and moves, similar to what the Colorado GOP just announced, as they have just said that they will move from a primary to a caucus system if this Colorado Supreme Court decision is upheld. And again, there's going to be a lot of appeals to this case. This case probably won't be able to stand, as of course, again, they took him off of the ballot because of accusations of insurrection, which haven't been proven in a frickin' court of law. It's conjecture. But there are going to be a lot of ramifications because of this major attack against Donald Trump, as this move once again is forcing a lot of people who weren't on the Trump train to be specifically behind Donald Trump because of just how atrocious, immoral, and low down his political opponents are, as what's happening here clearly will galvanize more Donald Trump supporters here just days before the first primaries that are going to be happening in Iowa. As it's important to note here that this won't be the first hiccup in this presidential election cycle, and there's probably going to be a lot more of them, as we have even gone as far a couple months ago to tell you that there probably won't be an official, legit presidential election. And with the way that things are already unfolding before even the next new year, it's fair to say that this is the first string of many shenanigans, as some people have even gone as far as to say that a lot of these shenanigans are meant to provoke a reaction that would create something of a civil conflict in the region that would absolutely be atrocious for everyone, as the Telegraph is reporting that, quote, never Trumpers are gearing up for a second civil war, as a lot of people are being fueled by panic attacks that have been fed into, quote, dangerous liberal delusions about the state of the union. This is a very interesting comment piece by the Telegraph. I think definitely worth reading, definitely worth checking out, as the situation is not all right. And we might be in a situation where the establishment is banking on a reaction instead of an actual action. How will this unfold? Why is there so much uncertainty? Why is the system so afraid of a man just being representative of the people that actually want him to be in political office? Well, that's a question that I think a lot of people should be asking themselves. And if you agree with that, share this video with your friends and family members. I wouldn't be here if I wasn't for you. I have food poisoning today of all frickin' days, so apologies if I'm more haggard than usual. I still have a commitment to work for you guys. I feel responsible for you guys, especially because you guys get the supplements, because you guys watch the videos on lukeunfiltered.com. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, and this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on WeAreChange.org.